Hello, seniors. It's Russ, the Rowdy Dog here. I've got a very special guest with me today. I want y'all to meet Matt Kelly. He is in my mastermind group. Well, hey, Matt, how you doing today?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well, man. Ready to hear what you got for us today. Seniors, what we've got here today is a guy. He has a 10th degree martial arts black belt, 10th degree black belt in one martial art, and then two more degrees or belts, black belts in two others, right? Fourth degree, fifth degree.
Well, I got a first degree, a second degree, and then, I've got a 10th degree in the system I inherited from my master. And then I created my own system.
Oh,
so,
gotcha.
I've got three black belts and one in a master ranking before I created my own system or style. So, yeah.
Awesome. So basically, Matt knows what he's talking about. When we talk about self-defense, you guys remember that I was talking to y'all that we were going to do a self-defense training for seniors. And Matt is the guy that knows these things, is going to help us. And we're going to have a conversation today, and he's going to kind of talk us through some techniques and things that we can do to protect ourselves. You know, as seniors, we get out in the public and it's kind of scary because we feel vulnerable. We're weaker. We're vulnerable to attack. We're vulnerable to things. So what we're going to try to do is have Matt walk us through some things and show us how we can protect ourselves when we go to the grocery store, different scenarios and techniques that we can use to protect ourselves. And one thing I forgot to mention is, if you'll notice in Matt's background, he has the Knight's Path. That's his podcast. And you also have a Facebook page as well,
right? Got a Facebook page and
okay.
YouTube channel.
Okay, and a YouTube channel as well. So what we're going to do is after we do our interview here, we'll put up links in the description below so you guys can go and check out Matt's pages and his Facebook and YouTube channel for more content from him. And Matt and I are both involved with Entre Institute in the Inner Circle. And we'd like for you guys to take a look at that. It's a great company. If you want to learn about online marketing and get involved with just a fantastic company with lots of integrity, support, and training, Matt and I both are just thrilled with what we've done with the company, right, Matt?
Absolutely.
So we'll put a link down in the description below about that. And again, it's all about subscribing, commenting, sharing, and liking the page so we can bring you guys good content. And Matt and I, again, we're going to talk today through some things and techniques that we can use. And then we're going to do a live where I'm actually going to bring my dad. He's agreed, Matt. He's 84 years old, and he's agreed to come in. And so we can have a real-time guy here that we can show these techniques to. And I might even be able to get my mom to come. She's 84 as well.
Oh, wow.
And so we can have some one-on-one with both of them and show them these things, because they're both, they're a little frail. They're a little scared to get out in the public and, go get their meds or whatever. So, it's nice that they can have some techniques to protect themselves. So I'll let you take it away, kind of get us started on what we're going to learn. And I may jump in with a question or two, but go right ahead.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead.
So, thanks for having me on, Russ. And this is, a subject that's near and dear to my heart. I've got a daughter that's growing up, and then I was a police officer for years. And I basically teach active shooter in the companies that I work for. I'm a safety guy now. I teach a lot of active shooter and, talk about things that can happen at work. We'll talk about things in the public, and then we'll talk about things at home.
Okay.
And you and I are going to do a part one and a part two. So this one's kind of an introduction. And then, I plan on coming up there, seeing you, and we can actually look at some techniques. But the most important thing to get across before we get into any kind of actual techniques are, if we can avoid a situation, absolutely 100%, that is the best thing to do. There's a book out there, and it's called Left of Bang. And it's by Patrick Van Horn and Jason A. Riley, Left of Bang. And it was basically over there in the sandbox, you had a group of Marines that were trying to come up with a program as to, if there's a timeline, and here's the timeline, it started at 6 a.m. and at 3 p.m. is when the bang went off, the explosion or whatever. The whole premise is, what can we do to stay left of bang? What can we do to stay left of this event? Were there signs? Were there things
Kind
that
of, kind of situational awareness, kind of like?
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
Gotcha.
So situational awareness, what were the signs and the things that led up to that someone could have picked up on prior to that event or that active shooter event or that bang happening? So
Gotcha.
really, really fantastic book that gets into that. And I'm going to touch on that, some of those thoughts and those theories when it comes to here. So when it comes to the advantage, I think the elderly have, and you've probably heard this, the best judges of character and people are children and the elderly, right?
Okay.
You can't bullshit a kid. They know if you're true and genuine. You can't bullshit the elderly because they've been there, done that, and
Been there, done that.
seen it all, right? So
Yeah.
when it comes to situational awareness, as far as seniors go, I would just say trust your instincts, trust your instincts, trust your instincts.
Gotcha.
So if something doesn't feel right, you're getting a weird vibe off somebody, it's it's legit.
Yeah.
And you need to listen to that, and you need to react accordingly and appropriately before the stuff hits the fan, right? So I would absolutely, one of the best advantages seniors have, or people in general, is whenever your instincts kick in and something starts not feeling right, you need to pay attention to that.
Okay. So the hairs on the back of your neck start tingling up. You better pay attention. Escape. Get away from the situation.
Absolutely.
All possible. Yeah.
Yep. And especially
that scenario is to remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah. If you're not there when the bullets start flying in an active shooter situation or a public shooting, or then good. That's what you want to do, right?
Right.
So that there's 3 tiers of response generally in an active shooter situation. That's run, hide, and fight, right? So that run part is if you're not there when stuff's going down, that's great. So
yeah, exactly.
And fight is usually the last tier of response, that run, hide, fight. But when I teach this, Russ, kind of the situational awareness, and I teach workplace, and then I teach in the public, and then I also teach in the home. So I think it's important that all these different things, how can I be safe in a crazy world? Well, at work, it's really as simple as thinking's free and it doesn't cost a dime, right? So your mind, and I'd say that's the other thing that's an advantage for an experienced human being, a senior, is you've had a lot of experiences, you've lived through a lot of things. So use that to your advantage. And what I mean by that in the workplace, when I teach this to people, is play the what if game. What if this happened, what would I do? What if this happened, where would I go? What if this, if I'm in my office and I hear shooting going on in the lobby, where am I going to go? What am I going to do?
Right.
When you exercise that visualization, and visualization, Olympic athletes use it. Michael Jordan has done it. Everybody visualizes and sees themselves in these different scenarios. And when you visualize, what you're doing is you are neuro mapping in your mind how you would react.
Right.
So then if something happens, you have a much higher propensity for being to execute the way you want to, based on that pre-thought, versus never having thought of a scenario before. And then you're trying to come up with solutions in real time while the lead's flying, and you're not going to be able to think clearly.
So for a senior, we're talking about like in your home, like if you have an escape plan for a fire, similar stuff, a burglar, an active shooter coming into your house, you got to have a predetermined plan as to what you're going to do. Same thing at the grocery store. You got to think through the scenarios that you can have and take action on, and you have them pre-planned in your mind, a blueprint, we'll say, in your mind to follow, so you know what to do. And you can be confident with that when you do go out in the public.
Absolutely. Right? And that's exactly why we do this for kids in schools for the fire drills. And it can be as easy as a walkthrough. When you see an elementary, fire drill happening, they're walking, they're very calm, but they're mental mapping, and they're creating those neural pathways. in a bad situation, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? What if, what if, what if? So you're
Right.
exactly right. Thinking's free doesn't cost a dime, maybe burn a calorie or two, right? But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's
So it's
so
good
if I-
to drill these things too. I mean, you actually do the drills. I mean, in your house, just like for my daughter, we have
Yep.
fire drills. She knows where to go, how to get out of the house. You actually have that plan and maybe even write it down and
Absolutely.
practice it once a month or something to keep it
Yeah.
active and fresh in your mind.
Yeah,
So-
I would say have a, do it at least once a quarter. And yeah, and then it's important so like for work, I always say have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C contingency, especially also in the public. If I'm at a restaurant, if I go on a daddy-daughter date, right?
Mhm.
And I love my daddy-daughter dates.
How old's your daughter, by the way?
She's 14 now.
14. Oh man. Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Mine's
But
8.
we've been going on daddy-daughter dates for quite a while, but when she
Yeah.
was younger, for sure.
Yeah.
When I go into a restaurant, and this is going to sound weird, if I go into a restaurant or if I go into a convenience store, I case the joint. And I don't case the joint because I'm a bad guy. I case the
That's your
joint,
training.
to see if I get a weird vibe off somebody or whatever. But I'm also, where's my exit? There's an exit there. There's an exit there. There's the exit I just came through, the entrance, right?
Gotcha.
And then, I'll look for exit signs. And then I also, usually there's going to be an exit out back through the kitchen,
Right.
and, because that's where they dump all the trash and all that. There's going to be a way out of a building that way as well.
Towards the back of the building, right?
Yep. So what I want to do in a perfect scenario, if I can manipulate it this way, and like I'll use IHOP as an example. IHOP, it's usually please wait to be seated, right? And is this table fine? And if I don't like that table because it's in the middle of the restaurant and my back would be towards the door, or I'm like, no, I don't want to sit here. I want to sit over there.
That's me, buddy.
And I'll try to
I'm the
get
same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. And I got that from my dad. He don't want he cannot stand to sit with his back facing the door. He wants to sit where he can see, against the wall in a booth where he can see the people in the restaurant.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's all part of situational awareness and being prepared to stay left of bank, right?
Yeah.
So I want my back to a wall where I can see as much of the restaurant and the people as possible.
Right.
I don't want to sit in a booth.
Mhm.
And the reason I don't want to sit in a booth is usually they are
hard to get out of.
They're fixed to the wall or they're fixed to the floor. And then you're going to have to shimmy out.
Gotcha. And for an older person like my parents, that are kind of immobile, might take them way too long to move out of a booth and off of a chair.
Absolutely. The other thing I want is a table. And the first thing I do at a table, and not so good at McDonald's, is I want to see if it's mounted to the floor. If it's mounted to the floor, I can't tip it over.
Oh, okay. For cover. Put some cover between you and the bad guy. Gotcha.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing you need to start putting in your wheelhouse and thinking ahead of time, and it's mental prep, is what's covered, what's concealment. So if I can tip this table over, it can potentially provide me some temporary cover until I go to my contingencies, or I may have to hunker down. Just depends on the situation, right? But it's important to know what cover versus concealment is. Cover is, concealment is I'm hiding behind a bed sheet. You can't see me, but a bullet can go through there and hurt me.
Right.
Cover is I'm hiding behind a Coke machine, an engine block on a car, a stone wall, something that can stop, impede, deflect any incoming rounds.
Right.
So know what cover is, know what concealment is, and be able to start. And this is where you can start working your mind and brain. Okay.
Yeah. So seniors really need to start thinking that way before they even leave the house. You start thinking, when you go to the store, before you get out of your car, start thinking of these things.
Yep.
As you walk through the door, you think of all the different scenarios that you're laying out here. And
absolutely.
Even walking through the aisles and stuff,
absolutely.
Situational awareness. You scan the people in the place, see if anything raises your hackles, then to leave the area. And very, very, very good stuff. Yeah. So important.
Yeah. Just like the other thing I do is like if I'm at IHOP or whatever, I'll usually get, depending on the time, I would get a cup of coffee.
Uh-huh.
And then I'd get a full glass, which is usually a pint glass at IHOP, of water. Whether I drink the water or not, I can dump it out and I can throw it, and I can use it as a distraction technique or to shatter or window or whatever else. And when I say the plan A, plan B, plan C contingencies, is in my mind, I want to have, hey, if something bad goes down here, I'm gonna tip this table over, or I'm gonna throw this mug of water or this glass in that direction. I'm gonna
draw attention away from you,
right,
to where you threw the glass, so you can escape.
I'm going to grab my daughter, put my body between her and any incoming rounds, and I'm going to go to the kitchen, let's say, right? Gotcha. If that's my plan A. But the reason I want to have a plan B is because if they heard gunshots in the kitchen and they secure the door, because they're going to hide in place and barricade in place, and I go to that door and it's locked, I have an immediate plan B, because I've already wired it neurally in my mind to go, okay, crap, plan B. And then I would go here.
Gotcha.
And then, depending on what's going on, I always have a plan C. In a restaurant scenario, I usually always carry a tactical pin on me, and it has a glass break on it, or I carry a knife that has a glass break on it, and that would be me. And I've also know if there's chairs that I can throw through a window, and then I'm going to throw my daughter out the window. I'm going to go out the window and try to get out of that, and then get away. Right.
I guess another thing is to carry concealed, especially
Absolutely.
the great equalizer for a senior. But we want to make sure everybody knows you be trained, you know the safety rules with your firearm always.
Absolutely.
Firearm's so got to be part of your body,
Yeah. And I was definitely going to talk about some weapons that we can use, but absolutely 100%. It's an even playing field. If you've got a piece of metal that can, travel several, a couple thousand, 1,000+ feet per second and hurt somebody, right? That's going to be I can't hit somebody as hard as I can shoot, with a bullet, right? So the thing with that though is absolutely, you hit on it, Russ. I've seen a lot of people that have license to carry, and they go get their license and they never train with their gun.
Yeah. Mistake.
So you have to train. And it's not necessarily going to the range and spending a lot of money on ammo. You can do a ton of stuff through dry fire.
Yeah. You can do a lot of drills.
Absolutely.
Without having to even fire around.
Absolutely. And yes, you can, practice your sight picture, your trigger squeeze, and you can rack the slide. There's all kinds of dry fire decks and trainings out there. That's all you'd have to really do on YouTube, is just go look up a bunch of stuff. But there's tons of dry fire out there.
A lot of drills, you can do the drills in your kitchen. I mean, you don't
absolutely.
have to have.
I'll plug.
Okay, cool.
Navy SEAL Shooting with Chris Sinog. He's got a website. He does a ton of stuff. This is a fantastic book. And
maybe we can put a link. Does he have where we can put a link to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
I will send that link as well.
Yep, that'd be awesome.
So there's that in public. Again, I case a convenience store before I go into a convenience store. If it's summertime in Texas and I see some guy going there with a big hoodie on that's thick, I'm not going in there. Right? That's suspicious.
Hackles, man. That's hackles big time. Back off. Get the hell out of there.
Yep. And then at the house, and I'll just hit on the house real quick, and then we can move on to some other stuff. But what I do at the house is I think about the most inconvenient scenario where I would have to handle business, and then I reverse engineer it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. And for me, that would be, I'm taking a dump. I'm on the toilet, and then boom, someone kicks in my front door. Where do I go? What do I do? Right. I'm taking a shower, and then something happens. Where do I go? What do I do? Right. And if you have people in your house, it's very vital, and you could do this in public as well. It's very vital to have an alert word. Monster, bear, whatever that is, to let everybody in the family know that something's going down, and everybody needs to go to their plan A, plan B, plan C contingencies, or whatever their assignment is. So if you heard glass breaking in your house and you said monster, then everybody knows.
Yeah.
Shit. You know,
Shit.
I got to go here. I got to go
How
there.
about, oh shit.
I'm gonna
Oh
hunker-
shit. That'd be the
Yeah.
safety word.
Oh shit can be an alert word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely, and then again, it doesn't have to be something that people get real scared and like, you know, you don't want to cause panic, but like, hey, if you hear monster, you can walk through it. You can do a walkthrough drill. This is where I want you to go. This is where I would want you to hide. I'm going to come here. Your wife's calling 911, whatever the assignments are, right? So
yeah, great. So if it was at my parents' house, we hear breakage, we hear monster, mom's on the phone, 911, dad's got his gun and is barricading in place.
Yep, barricading in place. Yep, and
Or escaping out.
Yep. And then, you know, he's tipping stuff over and he's going to barricade in place and he's hiding behind cover versus concealment because you have the forethought now to act and say, hey, I'm going to put this here and this is what I'm going to tip over and this is where I'm going to hunker down and bunker down and I'm going to defend here. And I got my wife and she's calling 911 and anyone comes through that door, God help.
It's really similar to an emergency drill for tornadoes or any other kind of scenario. You have to have individual scenarios for each type of emergency: fire, tornado, burglar, entry into your house, whatever. So yeah, it's good to have all four of those and drill on them.
Yep. And you got to have your plan A, your plan B, your plan C, because if you put all your eggs in one basket and you're going to that and, you know, like a fire drill, hey, we're going to go out here. Well, crap, that part of the building's on fire. I can't go there. And then you're going to, and when you try to think of something in real time, when the shit's hitting the fan, you're not going to be able to think clearly and you may make a mistake. So bake in the plan A, plan B, plan C contingencies.
Gotcha. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to have, because it never goes. I mean, just like
Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If it's going to go wrong, it will. That's for sure. So yeah, it's good to have those A, B, and C plans. Yeah, contingencies for sure. Yeah, that's good. Good plan.
Now, when we're talking about, now we can kind of talk about, I know exactly, I can tell you 100%, Russ, exactly what an attacker is going to look like for anybody that's listening to this podcast. As long as they're a human, okay? And I'll show you. It's pretty, let's see if I can figure out how to screen share here. And you can let me know if you, oh, let me do this, share. Can you see that?
Good. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So kind of queued these up earlier, but
went away. There it is. Looks like this is your calendar. There we go. Now we got pictures of the human body here.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So this is your attacker. If they're human, they're going to have a skeleton, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And we're going to talk about the things as far as skeletally. So we can study the skeleton, and there's only certain things only move certain ways, right? And we can already start knowing that, hey, this is the skeleton. Let me study the skeleton. This is potentially my my adversary.
Right.
Hey,
and every human being has these characters, has a skeleton. So you know all the areas that are vulnerable to injury, basically.
Yep. Okay. And then we'll talk about this too, is the nerves. So every human has nerves, right? So I need to be mindful of those things. So when it comes to the skeleton, I was a firearms instructor for Clint Smith out of Thunder Ranch, and he's world famous. He's got an amazing firearms training facility. And one thing that we would do when we would shoot moving targets, and we would keep shooting until the target stopped. And what we would aim for is and the way Clint put it is we would always aim center mass chest. So this was the engine. So the heart is the engine of the human being. So we would aim center mass for the heart. And if I shot there a couple of times and nothing happened and it was still moving, then they might have body armor on. I'm going to go to my plan B contingency. And the next one was the skull. So I would go for the computer of the human animal, right?
Right.
So I'm going for the engine, the heart, boom, 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 boom. It's not working. He may have body armor on, then boom, plan C or plan B, I'm going to the computer. If I can get a headshot and shut the computer off, the human animal is done. If I'm shooting the head or I'm shooting at the head, and it's going to be probably the hardest to hit if someone's running at me, right? Then my plan C contingency, and you can see I'm from a very young age, plan A, plan B, plan C, right? Is baked in my DNA.
There you go.
And then my
up
C,
just a second. Go ahead. Froze up just so you went.
oh,
you turned
okay.
into-
Oh, I got you. So plan A is, the chest, the heart, and then plan B would be the computer, and then plan C would be the hips. So if we're looking at that skeleton, so if they had body armor on and I was missing or it wasn't effective and I was shooting at the head and I was ineffective, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust up the hips, which is the axles and the wheels of the human animal. And if I can bust up those hips and they can't move, then they can't chase me and try to kill me.
Okay.
There's my A, B, and C as far as shooting is concerned. But we can certainly think about that with self-defense, physical self-defense.
Okay.
So with a knife or with a pin, a tactical pin, and again, we talked about the guns, right? So you want to give yourself every advantage that you can.
Look at that.
There you go. Crocodile Dundee, right? That's not a knife. This is a knife. But you definitely want an equalizer. If you don't have the pistol, you don't have a gun, I would highly suggest you get a pin, or these are tactical pins, and it's like aircraft aluminum. They have a glass break on them, and you want to get the most bang for your buck. But if we're talking about the plan A, plan B, plan C contingencies when it comes to shooting, I'm not going to try to stab someone's heart out.
Right.
There's a lot of armor. There's a lot of muscle. It's a big target. It's easy, but the head, the eyes, vulnerable areas in the throat, these are things that I would want to be able to target if I can get to them.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's, if someone is in my face and point my finger and I can grab a finger and do a joint lock, cause some pain. What you basically want to do is, and we'll kind of go when we do the live in person, you want to create enough damage and pain to where it's not worth them, or they're dealing with the pain. And then while they're dealing with the pain, that provides you some precious seconds to disengage, get away. But what I would say too is we have a saying in my martial arts system, which is there is no second attack. And by the way, Russ, I've got animals at the house.
No, I heard the
for all you folks listening. I've got pigs, I got dogs, I got chickens. So peacocks.
Yeah, that's cool. I'd like to hear your peacock. Oh
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
But the saying in my system is there is no second attack, and what that means is it doesn't mean my opponent can't attack me more than once, but once they do attack me, I'm going to counterattack so viciously and ferociously to where it's I swarm them, I smother them with techniques, and if it was something like this, and I happen to get a net shot, and the opponent is doing this, and I'm just going to keep stabbing in and around the soft areas of the face and throat to where they're acting, it's almost like getting stung by a bunch of wasps, right?
Yeah.
They're not
lethal
trying
per
to
se. Attack you anymore. They're trying to cover, duck and cover.
Right. And what you're doing is you're rewiring their brain from an adversarial standpoint to a defensive, from an attacker to a defender mindset, because the human body wants to protect itself. It wants to protect its eyes. It wants to protect its air, So if you pop someone in the throat, it's an automatic, innate, God-given human response. You can just sit here. You can do that, and you're gonna
larynx.
Yeah. And when that happens, that might free you up for a few precious seconds to be able to heel stomp a toe, put a knee inside a knee, and do some other things and damage them and then get away. But it's almost like that wasp nest, right? Where I get and while they're starting to regain their wits, you're already gone, or you're calling for help, or you're screaming if you're in a public place, attacker.
Right. Right.
whatever.
Hopefully
So
people at that time, people are going to come and help you, you hope.
Yeah.
In this day and age, it's hard to really fathom that. People today are just, they're kind of robots, they kind of, if they hear something going on, they turn the other way. It's really, really sad in our society now that people have just kind of tuned each other out.
well, and that's to your point. That's why a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of advice from self-defense experts and stuff, is to say fire instead of help me, I'm being attacked.
Yeah,
Because
I've
a lot
heard
of
that
people don't
same
want to
thing.
get involved with that, but people seem to be fascinated by fire.
Yeah,
Fire.
instead of saying help, you say fire, fire, and then they'll come rushing in.
Right.
Yeah.
It's,
I know they trained my daughter when they were doing self-defense in her karate school. That's how they would, instead of saying help, to yell fire.
yeah.
She's
See?
being abducted or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty cool.
Absolutely.
What
So
would you think, Matt? Just to reiterate, let's say the attacker. You got a guy confronting you. He's coming after you. You're an old guy. You got your cane. I guess your cane. You could whack him upside the head or do anything to jab him in the throat,
Mhm.
side of the neck, side of the head. Ears, I know, are a sensitive area. Eyes, for sure.
Yeah.
If you've got a cane, what if you don't have something like that? You just got your body. What would a senior do? Like my 84-year-old man, my dad. What
Yeah.
would he be able to?
So we can go over this. This is some pressure points that
Okay.
can almost, the playing field. But again, I think, there's some of these are going to be, it depends on the situation. If he's seated or he's in a wheelchair, he's at a disadvantage.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone comes upon you, and this is why I stress that situational awareness
Mhm.
is, if someone comes upon you and you don't pick up on any of the cues or clues, or maybe they're just real deceptive in their demeanor, and then all of a sudden you've got this bad guy leering over you, that's a bad place to be in.
Sure.
But all is not necessarily lost because, based on the human skeleton, where is this guy's weight? Is he got most of his weight on one leg or the other leg? Right? If it's all on one leg and he's leering over me, that's the knee I'm going to attack.
Okay, so you can kind of kick out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then you need to know, you can't bet on it or bank on it, but if you attack that knee a couple of times, and I'm not just going to try to attack it once, I'm going to go 2 or 3 times, try to attack that knee, see if I can get it to break, collapse, and then know that this guy may come down on me.
Right.
And then when he comes down on me, then guess what? Gravity's helping me out. Gravity's helping me deliver a blow. And then I'm going to go for a thumb in the eye. I'm going to go for a fish hook. A lot of times someone will open their mouth, and this is another big thing in my system. Control the head, control the body.
Gotcha.
So you can even, imagine ramming your fingers down someone's mouth, into their mouth. We as human beings don't like that. If someone just shoves their fingers, I'm going to want to get away. Same thing with an eye,
Exactly.
But, grab hair. Hair's a handle, depending on what's going on. And then there's all kinds of things. There's a jugular notch nerve here. There's the collarbone nerve here. And the whole time you're screaming and yelling, fire, 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 and you're cracking that knee. And, a cane or a weapon or things like this are certainly going to help you,
even a ring of keys. I know you can, like I've told my mom, when you go, you put your keys through your fingers. So somebody, you can, hit them, punch them, whatever, with your keys through your fingers to help ward off somebody, fend off somebody.
Yeah. And I've seen the key thing, not
the best thing to do, but that's all you got.
It's certainly better than nothing. Right. And I've seen that, but if you're going to do that, this is the only thing I would say. And this is where I think a lot of self-defense, some of them depends. They don't necessarily do. If I'm gonna use that as a viable, guess what? I better practice hitting something.
Well, yeah, true.
Right? How effective? If I did that for the first time and I went, oh crap, my keys just flew backwards out, or they all bent down.
Yeah.
And then And that was all I ever thought about. And I put all my eggs in that basket. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Now
sucks.
what? Yeah. Now what? Then you got to think of your plan B and plan C possibly.
Right. So
You got to have those plan A, B, and C for sure.
So what I would do with a key is I would probably, and I wish I had one, is instead of doing something like this, what I would do is I would probably grab it like this, and then that could be something that really.
Oh, okay. Maybe stick it in the eye. Yeah.
Can you imagine just, grabbing someone and just raking the living crap out of the front of their face?
Yeah. First thing you're going to, just automatically you grab your face and let go of what your victim and run, most of the time you're going to take off because you don't want somebody fighting you. You want a victim that's easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what predators look for. Predators look for, they spot two people. If they see someone walking around like this, that to me, if I'm a predator, says victim, food, right? But if you got someone that's not paying attention to this and their head's on a swivel and someone gets in my bubble, I'm like, oh, what are you doing, sir? That guy's going to go, this guy's too much trouble. Yeah. He's too aware of what's going on.
Right. Seniors need to be very aware of that. I don't know a lot of them that do the phone thing. You see that in a lot of, they'll just be down here the whole time they're walking, young people. But seniors, they're all about getting their business done. But they need to really think about that. Situational awareness when you're walking in anywhere. Make sure nobody gets in your, what do you call that? Your safety zone within arm's length.
Yep.
And if somebody does get in there, you get your hackles up and be aware and start thinking of your scenarios. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Distance equals time. Time gives you reaction, the ability to react appropriately. Right. So the bigger your bubble, the more, and you brought up a good point. I just thought of this. There's a lot of seniors out there that still write checks.
Yeah, they do.
So writing a check is very similar to being on a phone and being distracted. So if you're a senior and you're going to write a check, then don't put your blinders on.
Yeah.
Put your back to a wall, and then I'm going to write my check like this. I'm not going to be down here like this, because if I'm a predator and I see a senior and I want to grab their purse or their wallet, I'm going to look for someone doing this, and I can walk right up on them before they know it.
Right.
So what they need to do is, hey, again, be the master of your own environment, right? Put your back to a wall, have your head up.
Yes.
As you write your check.
Main thing, keep your head up. Keep your head on a swivel. Be looking for situations. Situational awareness. So important.
Pre-plan too, before I get out of my car. If you know you're at Walmart and you're going to write a check for a prescription, write Walmart, write the date. Don't maybe sign it yet, because someone could take that blank check, right? But then just wait to put the amount, and then that's just one less thing to do that's going to keep you, distracted. Just put in the amount, write it in, and then, if I'm at the pharmacy, then maybe I'll turn my back to the pharmacy staff, and then I can kind of, so just some things to think about. And as far as situational awareness in public goes, I would just say this to the seniors, and I say this to anybody. If I said, hey, Russ, I can predict the future and I can look in a crystal ball, and here's the thing, buddy, when you go out today, someone's going to come at you with a gun and try to take your wallet. Have a good day. Be safe. And you're like, well, you're either going to decide to stay home that day, if you trust me, or if you knew you had to go out no matter what. And guess how much more aware you are going to be that day.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Matt just read the future, and he told me some guy's going to try to pick my pocket today. Let's say he's not going to come at you with a gun and say, hey, you're going to have one guy's going to try to pick your wallet today, and he's very good. Be careful. You're going to be so situationally aware, and it's not paranoid. It's being smart, right? And and that's all I would say to anybody is, when you go out today, when you go out tomorrow, just think there might be someone out there that wants to pick your pocket and wants to purse snatch you. And in Walmart, I could go up to so many people in Walmart that are so, in la la land that.
So they're situationally unaware, they leave their cart and their purse sitting there, and they're over, half an aisle down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You see it all the time. Yeah.
So the other thing too is, when we were boys, we used to play tag, right?
Yeah.
and say, hey, someone's going to play tag with me today and try to touch and get within, So you're going to be real, but I mean, so many people get so close, and predators know that. Predators know that. The other thing I would say,
they look for that stuff.
yeah. And the other thing I would say, Russ, too, is if you're a senior and you're going to go to the bathroom, use the stall and lock the door.
Ah, yeah, very good.
Because again, it's kind of like that home scenario for me. I think of the most inconvenient place where I could be attacked, and guess what?
Restroom, yeah, it'd be easy
I'm a
for a guy.
Yeah. I'm a predator, and I want to steal your wallet. I'm going to wait till you stand up at the urinal. You got your back to me. You're busy doing your business, and then I'm going to push your head into the tile wall. And while you're seeing stars and stuff, I'm going to take your wallet and I'm going to walk out. And guess what? I did it behind closed doors in a restroom in a public place that's much easier for me to get away with.
Yeah.
And I can kind of pick my time.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So seniors, you hear what he said? Go to the stall. Don't stand at the urinal where you're vulnerable in a public restroom. Go in the stall. That's great advice. I mean, I think of my dad in that scenario. Could be so easy for somebody just to walk up behind him. He's not paying attention except doing his business.
Mm-hmm.
Bash his head against the plumbing or the wall there, and it's done. It's over. It's over. Yep. He's got your wallet, whatever, and he's gone. That quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like bad guys, right? Because I'm like, if I was a bad guy and I wanted to put someone behind the 8 ball and I wanted to have the highest degree of success, how would I do it? Well, I'm going to case the guy in Walmart that I think has the big fat wallet,
right?
And I've seen people, they're like, or they'll go to an ATM machine, or they'll go to, they'll do a refund at the customer service, and then they get a bunch. Can I have those in hundreds, please?
Cash.
And then you see some guy put a bunch of, and then his wallet can barely close. He puts it in the back of his pocket, and then he goes in and he shops. And if I'm a bad guy, I'm going to follow that dude at a distance and go, "Oh, I hope you go take a piss, buddy."
Yeah.
If you go in the stall, you're going to make it a lot harder for me, right?
Yeah.
But if he's got his back to me, and again, bam, control the head, control the body, someone's going to be seeing stars. And while you're sitting there worrying about being exposed and whizzing on yourself and all those other crazy things that are going to flood your brain, this guy's having his way with you, and he took your wallet.
Right.
The other thing I would say is,
you've seen this happen. I mean, you're with the Dallas Police Department for was it 14 years?
No, I was only there for 6, and then I was with Kerrville for 2. So basically 91 to 99, I was a police officer.
So you've seen all these scenarios play out in your life as a police officer. So you know exactly what you're talking about. Seniors, this guy has seen this stuff. So he knows, he's pretty smart about this stuff. So man, the bathroom thing, so important.
Well, and think about this, ladies and seniors. How many guys open doors for ladies, and they're seemingly gentlemen?
Right.
Don't get on an elevator with a dude by yourself. Some nice guy's going to open the door for you. Here you go. And you might get some good, weird vibes from them. But again, as you're coming in, if you're in a parking garage or something like that, women generally have long hair. Hair is a handle. Control the head, control the body. Someone opens the door for you. As you turn your back to them and you trust them and you start walking in, they can grab your hair and ram your head into a threshold. And all of a sudden you're unconscious in an elevator while the doors are closing and this guy's doing horrible, nasty things to you. Right?
Yeah. Taking your person running or taking advantage of you while you're out. Yeah.
Well, same thing with a car too. So like that restroom scenario, you're going to your car and you're not aware of what's going on. It's almost like check writing, or it's almost like your cell phone. If I'm fumbling for my keys and I'm facing the car, anyone can come up behind me. I don't have eyes in the back of my head. And then I'm sitting here trying to, someone can pancake my face, bounce it off the window of my car, and all of a sudden they got my car.
Got your car, got your wallet, got everything, and they're gone.
So
in the blink of an eye too. Because these guys that do this kind of stuff, they've probably done it, no telling how many times. So they're quick, man. Bam, 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 they're gone.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And the elderly are easy to prey upon. I mean, they have actual laws. It's I forget what the law is called, but it's aggravated assault for certain people over a certain age,
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So same thing with children. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like
it would be
harsher penalties for people that attack seniors or children?
absolutely.
Okay. Well, good. There should
Absolutely.
be. The most
Yes.
vulnerable in our society should be protected, you know?
Yep.
Uh,
Well, and that's
Yeah.
the thing though,
Right.
but you know, the best judges of character are children and the elderly, right? So
Yeah.
absolutely 100%. Just your biggest advantage is going to be your smarts and being prepared. And you might have some old habits that you have to break because guess what, seniors, you've been doing so much stuff so long a certain way, you might
Yeah.
have to change.
Right.
Okay. And you can't teach an old dog new trick. Just, you know,
Yeah.
Rusty the rowdy dog knows that. Rusty the rowdy dog knows that.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, he does. And if you don't, he'll learn it the hard
That's
way.
right.
Now, hopefully not the hard way, getting robbed or mugged or something, but
Yep.
yeah, all good stuff, all important stuff.
So thinking's free doesn't cost a dime, you know, and we can, the next time we get together, man, I would love to maybe go through some of those scenarios. If you've got your dad with you
Yeah.
and he's sitting down and I happen to sneak up on him, we're going to look at the skeleton and fingers and things that, you know, he could have an advantage. I want him to be able to, hey, I would have your dad, like turn around. I'm going to get to a position, and then I'm going to have him turn around and go, which leg do I have most of my weight on? And I want him to tell me like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Has to be just second nature.
Yeah. And then he's going to be able to spot, hey,
Yeah.
I got most of my weight on this leg. That's the knee I would want to take out. You know, when I talk about my head, control the head, control the body, ear over shoulder, shoulder over hip is perfect posture. If I stand with my ear over my shoulder over hip, I've got that natural S curve in my back. As soon as I break that plane, if I go here, I'm off balance, even by a little bit. And this might be the direction I would want to push somebody because I'm going to use gravity to my advantage, especially if I'm a senior or I'm a child. I'm going to use gravity to my advantage because if someone's bending here and I want to control the head, I'm not going to try to control his head and go back here. I'm going to go ahead and let gravity's already pushing down. Boom, go that way.
So basically, you're using his weight, body weight, and gravity to drag him down or whatever to take his body weight and take that momentum down
And
to the ground.
someone could come this way and then I can easily divert it. So I can get something moving this way and then divert. So I can use force to my
his
advantage.
momentum. Yeah, use that momentum against him.
Absolutely. Why not? God gave us gravity. Why not let gravity help you fight when you're a senior or you're a child or you're weaker? Let gravity help you.
Yeah, that's the whole thing is you're weaker, so you need to take every advantage you can, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll throw out there, Russ, is you can usually find these at any religious Christian store, you know, little wooden crosses.
Yeah, a little wooden cross. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but guess what this is? And this is the way my mind works. These look, I saw these at the house and I'm like, hey, most people see these as Christian crosses and they are, right? But what I see,
my mom has one of those.
I see wooden Kubotans.
Oh, okay. All right. That's better than keys, isn't it?
Yeah. And guess what? These aren't keys, but you know, hey, I can have this in my hand. It looks mundane to an attacker, but then someone comes in here, I grab the back of their head and I just start punching and grinding, you know. So
stick them in the face, yeah.
Absolutely. You know, carry these in your purse, carry these.
I'll give my mom one of those to put on her key ring.
Absolutely. Right?
Yeah. My
but
dad
you want to have an equalizer. You want to have an equalizer. The reason you want this or the reason you want this is because let's say I have a 100-pound punching bag that I swing and then I let it hit me in the chest. It's going to hit me in the face, chest, and it's got all that 100 pounds of force that's going to absorb and spread across my body.
Right.
Versus I take a 100-pound pole and swing it and just the end of it hits me. What's going to hurt worse?
Oh, yeah.
100-pound pole because you got all that force concentrated in a small surface area. So that's the whole reason behind this.
Yeah, gotcha. It's going to bury in you a lot deeper than
and it's going to be that damn wasp sting that makes people go, you know what, this isn't worth it. I almost lost a freaking eye. I'm getting out of here. And the whole time you're going, fire, fire, fire.
Yeah. I'm going to go lick my wounds and try again later on somebody else, man. This guy's just kicked my butt.
And then just know the mindset is when you're at the house, you know, you want to hurt that person bad enough to where you got plenty of time to get out. So you may have to stay on them for a while, you know, and make sure hopefully, because
Yeah.
that'd be a different thing. If you're yelling fire, there may not be help. If it's a situation
Right.
like your dad and your mom, and but it might buy them enough time to get to that barricaded place where they're going to hard point,
Right. Right.
and then he's got the gun. She's called 911, and then it's like, and then I would absolutely be public about it too. And go, I have a gun. If you come in this door, I will blow your friggin' brains out.
There is nothing more intimidating than the rack of a slide on a 12 gauge shotgun.
Yep.
And I think all these crooks probably know that sound very intimately. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. When I tell some of these
you.
stories, it's funny because I have people go, Matt, you shouldn't tell people about that restroom thing because you're going to give people ideas. The bad guys already have the ideas.
Yeah, they got that.
They've already figured out 100 different ways how to victimize people.
Right.
And I'll throw this one out there, and then I'll let you sign us off for the end of part one. But
Sure.
Groceries. So if you're grabbing groceries and you're making more than one trip to and from the house, you need to lock your freaking door every time you go in the house.
Okay.
Because
don't go through the garage. My parents, they pull into the garage and close the door behind them.
That's good. So, absolutely.
I guess a guy could slip in, but if you're watching, don't pull in until the guy, drives by or goes on down the road.
Yeah, that's good. Close it. But and because I knew two girls in Dallas. They just went to grocery shopping and they were going back and forth in and out of that apartment, grabbing a bunch of groceries. And the last bag that went in, the door started to shut. This guy went in there, shut the door, locked it behind him, and he had them as hostages for several hours. They both lived, thankfully, but it was very unenjoyable. But they should have locked the door. But here's the other thing: get creative, right? If you're a single girl or you're a single lady or you're in your house by yourself, you're getting ready to leave the house or you're getting ready to open the door. You can always open the door and say, "Hey, honey, how's it going?" "Oh, don't let him out. He'll eat people."
Or you can say, "Hey, are you about done cleaning your gun?"
Right. Yeah. You can place
you need to put that gun away.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you cleaning your guns again, honey? Can you? Okay, whatever.
Sharpening your machete again.
Right. But you can say, hey, if a predator is not going to want to deal with a dog, a predator is not going to want to, if they case the joint and they got it wrong and they doubt themselves, they're going to move on. Hopefully. Right.
They're looking for the easy target. It's just like they say to put, even if you don't have an alarm system, put an alarm system sign out in front of your house.
Yeah.
Or put a sticker on your window of your house or your cars with, such and such security, monitored or whatever. And that'll go to the next place,
Beware of dog.
Right? Yeah. There you go.
In your backyard fence or in your front window. And then, people don't want to mess with dogs.
I have a doorbell, and when it goes off, big dog barking. You hear big dogs barking in the house whenever they hit the doorbell. So
that's awesome. That's smart.
That's a deterrent. And people go, oh man, they kind of, like a salesperson, he'll kind of back off a little bit.
Yeah, that's smart. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, hey, I hope this was a pretty good warm up and gave you and your audience plenty to think about.
Yeah, seniors. Wow, such great information. I hope you guys were taking notes. We're talking about situational awareness. So important. Keep your head on a swivel. Have an ABC scenario, because nothing ever, Murphy's Law, right, Matt? Murphy's Law is so important. So, let's all think about these things when we go out in public. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't be writing checks or looking at your phone. Keep your head on a swivel. Look around. Have contingencies in place for each type of thing that could happen. Now, Matt and I are going to come back and do a live, and we're going to do some actual demonstrations here, probably a couple weeks or so.
Yeah.
We've got several things coming up in June, I know, but it may be early July or something before we can do that. But we're gonna do a continuing of this with a live demonstration. I'm going to have my dad here. He's 84 years old. He'll be the perfect guy. And I'm if I can talk my mom into it, I'm going to have her come too, so we can do some situational awareness things, do some drills to kind of drill this in and show folks, what we can do to protect ourselves. But great stuff, Matt. Really appreciate you coming today. And guys, we're going to have in the description below, we're going to put Matt's the Knight's Path. We'll put his links up to all his Facebook, YouTube. Also that book you mentioned, we'll put a link up to that book.
Yep.
And we'll also have the Entre Institute link down there for online business for you guys to look at. We want y'all to check that out. And we'll just keep plugging along, and we'll put out a notice or something. If you subscribe, you'll get a notice. Hit the bell, comment, subscribe, and like, and you'll get a notice whenever we do more content here. We're having all kinds of good guests on. Matt is just one of many. He's going to be coming back to give us a live, and man, great stuff, Matt. Appreciate you coming, buddy.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's go ahead and publish this one. I know you and I talked about maybe putting these together, but I think this is good information that can start being digested and practiced with your audience.
Right.
And then we'll do part 2 when we get to it, but at least people can start thinking. And,
that's
and
the thing is people, they need to start thinking more of situational awareness, the different scenarios in their house when they go grocery shopping. You know, just you got to be thinking.
Yeah, and then maybe there's some comments that they put on this one that we can address the next time we get together, brother.
Right. Perfect. You guys make comment, ask questions in the comments down below, and whenever we come back to do the second live, we'll address those questions in the live. And there may be a scenario that you want us to address that maybe we didn't cover today. That would be pretty important for everybody to see. So I think it's good stuff. Really good stuff. Matt, appreciate
Russ, the rowdy dog, my brother.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, me too, buddy. It's good to see you again. We'll see you on the mastermind here in another week?
Yeah.
The Entre Institute Mastermind Group.
Yeah.
All right, brother. All right. Sounds good, my friend. It's a pleasure. We'll see you on the next one.
You betcha.